Well, we begin the morning on a very somber, very tragic note. As you just heard, a very horrific school bus as well as MTA bus crash, taking the lives of 6 individuals, 10 more in the hospital to varying degrees of injury. And so on that somber note that we have to begin our talk with the governor segment with Governor Larry Hogan. And Governor, we're a little late beginning, but I just wanted to give you an opportunity to express your thoughts on this horrific crash this morning that if there's one positive out of this, no children at least involved in this horrific crash, Governor Hogan.
Well, that was something to be thankful for, but our deepest condolences go out to the victims and their families. This is a terrible tragedy, and we're going to continue to pray for those who are injured, including the individuals that are at shock trauma, and as well as the first responders who are working very diligently under difficult circumstances. But, our administration is giving every possible support to Baltimore City Police as they investigate, and we're prepared to offer whatever state assistance is necessary.
Governor Hogan, as we begin this show this morning, it is 1 week until Election Day, actually 7 days. Hard to believe, isn't it?
It really is, but I'm looking forward to getting it over with.
I know that you are. Without getting into everything we already know about where you are in this election, have you been just astonished as the rest of us as we look at issues from a Billy Bush interview with Donald Trump on a bus to now former Congressman and what I call internationally known pervert Anthony Weiner and his laptop and Huma Abedin? I mean, just think about where this campaign has moved to, Governor.
Well, it's I've never seen anything like it in all my years of following politics, and I think most people in the country are really just kind of frustrated. They don't really want to watch the news anymore, and they're anxious to get this election done.
When it comes to the issue of what's happening here in our state, one of the big good news, and I think we need someone a day like today, one of the good news stories we have is, by many accounts, the Marriott Corporation was leaving Maryland. They were on their way out as last administration was leaving. But now we are hearing that based on negotiations with the state of Maryland, Marriott is staying in Maryland, I believe in the Bethesda area. Just talk about that for a moment.
Well, we're very happy to be able to. We announced just a week or two ago that Marriott committed to stay in Maryland. They're going to build a new headquarters in Bethesda. They were very close to going to Virginia and or D.C. I know that Terry McAuliffe, governor of Virginia, was working hard to try to steal them, and but we are happy to be able to keep them here. They've been in it's just a company synonymous with Maryland and world leader in their industry. They've been in Maryland for 60-some years, and we're happy that they decided to stay. Earlier, right after I was sworn in, we were able to keep McCormick, who was 1 foot out the door going to Pennsylvania. We're just happy that McCormick and Marriott and Northrop Grumman, some of these large employers, have decided that Maryland is a good place to do business, and that other smaller, less well-known companies are actually coming to the state, and people in the state are growing their businesses. It was the best year for business in Maryland in 15 years, and our state economy is doing great. We went from 49th out of 50 states in 2014 to number 11. It's the greatest economic improvement of any state in the nation. We've added 70,000 private sector jobs, and we're really starting to turn things around.
Governor Larry Hogan is on board. It is our Talk with the Governor segment. Whenever the governor's time allows, we try to have him on each month to talk with you. 410-467-WBAL. 410-467-WBAL. We have the governor one more segment. Let's get a call in here, Governor, while we have you. Let's get Chris. Chris in Jarrettsville. You're on with Governor Larry Hogan.
Good morning, C4. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning.
Governor Hogan, I just, this is with everything serious going on this morning, this is just a call of thank you because you, when in your recent visit to Western Maryland, you did the Autumn Glory Parade, and you actually took a picture with my 91-year-old grandmother.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want to tell you what how you made her day. We just lost my dad actually recently, and about a month before that, her son. So it really just made her day, and I want to thank you for how much attention you pay to Western Maryland. I live in Harford County now, but my family's all from Western Maryland, and you haven't forgot about us. We appreciate it very much, and I just want to tell you how much, how big a supporter we are of you, and how much we appreciate everything you do.
Well, thank you very much. I can't thank you enough for those kind words. And I do remember meeting your grandmother. She was delightful. She was on the side of the road, and I gave her a big hug, and we got that picture, I think, on Facebook even. So
you did, yeah. And she told everyone. She said, He said, "This deserves a hug." And
yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, so she was terrific, and I'm sorry about the losses that you've had in your family. But, Western Maryland, I promised during the campaign that we were going to pay attention to every part of the state, particularly those that had been kind of ignored for 8 years, and that includes Western Maryland, Eastern Shore, Southern Maryland. But we've been everywhere in the state. We've been to all 24 jurisdictions multiple times, and I just love to get out of Annapolis and get out there with real people. So I can hear about the things that are going on in the communities and how we can be of help. And I think that's something that maybe not every governor in the past has done, and I think people appreciate the fact that we're getting out and meeting real people every day.
Chris,
No,
my prayers to you and your family as well from C4. The governor of the state of Maryland is on board with us. Governor Larry Hogan is our Talk with the Governor segment, coming to your calls in one moment. Now, Governor Hogan, you obviously had some folks a little concerned on the state Board of Education. The vice president of the Maryland State Education Board has resigned, suggesting that your executive order somehow crossed some, invisible line that existed there. Would you like to speak about the resignation of the vice president of the school board?
Well, I sent a letter to him yesterday thanking him for his service on the board and wishing him well. It was kind of an unusual situation. Obviously, the guy was somewhat confused and didn't understand what was going on, didn't understand his role as a school board member. But this is all about school after Labor Day, which this guy thought was just a new idea that I happened to come up with on my own. But really, the history of this is that the legislature wanted to start school after Labor Day, so they passed legislation mandating that a commission be put together to study the issue. The previous governor, Martin O'Malley, appointed the commission. They studied it for over a year. They looked at every single issue, and they addressed every concern, and they got input from people all over the state, and then they voted 12-3 to start school after Labor Day. Previous governor supported it. President of the Senate supported it. Most of the legislative leaders supported it. Comptroller was very involved in pushing it and supporting it, and about 80% of the people in the state wanted to see it happen. But the political operatives of the state teachers union killed the bill, and the legislature failed to even follow through on the recommendations of their own commission for 2 years. This report came out in the middle of the election, so Governor O'Malley didn't get a chance to get it done. I just finally did what everybody else failed to do, and what everybody in the state has wanted us to do. It is now the law of the land. School board members, that it doesn't matter whether they agree or disagree with me. They take an oath to follow the law, and this guy apparently did not want to follow the law, and he felt it was in his best interest to resign, and under the circumstances, we agree.
Staying on the issue of schools, another move that's going on, Governor Hogan, that is kind of concerning to me, as I know the process very well, is the fact that school construction projects go through a process, and then the Board of Public Works, the board you sit on with the Comptroller, Peter Francho, and Treasurer Nancy Cobb, make a decision on those projects. There appears to be an attempt to take that away from the Board of Public Works, at least discussion around it, to get the legislature involved. I wonder what the common denominator is recently that has happened to make the legislature look at that, Governor Hogan.
Well, I don't know what changed. This has been the way it works for 100 years or so.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we have to change the way we do appointments. We have to change the way we do the budget. I'm not sure what changed, but legislators all of a sudden think we need to change all the rules and take away all the authority of the governor. I guess maybe if someday if they elect another Democratic governor, maybe in 6 years or longer, maybe they'll have to go back and change all the laws again.
An epiphany would happen.
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden a new thought would, you know what, I think we've been doing it wrong. Let's go back to the original way. I mentioned that. I want the listeners to understand these things are not subtle. They aren't. It's a very good reason why the Board of Public Works makes decisions on these school construction projects, Governor.
Well, this one is of critical importance. Some of the other ones are trying to chip away at the authority of the governor, and they're silly and they don't make sense. But this one's no laughing matter whatsoever. The constitutionally, the Board of Public Works, these are, Francho and I are the statewide elected constitutional officers. The treasurer represents the legislature. And we make the fiscal decisions with respect to, with school construction, billions and billions of dollars. And we're holding the school systems accountable to the taxpayers to make sure that they're not wasting taxpayers' money. The legislature, I don't believe they have the authority to do it, and I think they'd be insane to try to do it. I think almost everyone in the state would be opposed to them doing it, but they want to remove the only checks and balances we have, take away any authority or any responsibility from the executive branch of government, and have them just hog wild, just be spending billions of dollars without anybody checking to make sure that they're spending it wisely.
Well, Governor Hogan, we're going to keep an eye on that, and particularly as we get closer to session, we'll talk about that with you, and even during session. Let's get some of your constituents out here. Let's get Larry in Carroll County. Is it Caroline? Excuse me. Larry in Caroline County?
Governor, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. I wanted to thank you. I'm a commissioner here in Caroline County. I don't want to be outdone by our Western Shore compatriots in thanking you for everything you've done for the Eastern Shore. We always look forward to having you come and visit, and it's a big deal when you come to Caroline County, and we appreciate everything you've done for us, and certainly look forward to seeing you come back and visit again. You've been here several times, and you're always welcome.
Well, thank you very much, and it's nice we're getting some balance in the state there with Western Maryland and the Eastern Shore chiming in. I'm hoping the next caller will be Southern Maryland, maybe. But we've tried to spend as much time as we can. Caroline County, I believe, is the smallest county in Maryland, maybe, and we've been there 4, 5, 6 times. I'm not sure, but we've been everywhere in the state. And we want to make sure that people know that nobody is being forgotten, that everybody has a voice in Annapolis, and that we're going to do the best job we can representing all the people in Maryland, no matter where they live.
Thank you, Larry. I appreciate the call. Let's get to Ron in Harford County. Ron, you're on WBAL with Governor Hogan with our Talk with the Governor segment.
I appreciate taking the call there, C4, and good morning, Governor.
Good morning.
Just a quick compliment on you, Governor Hogan. I'm really impressed with your focus when it comes to Maryland and what all is going on with the campaign and your decision not to endorse a candidate. And I felt that was the right thing to do. I'm sure I've heard people feel differently, but really impressed with your focus, not only with the state, your personal life, your family life, and our state has needed someone like you for quite a while. And on a broader span, Governor, I think you influence a lot of people. Our country needs someone with your focus, and we really thank you.
Should I follow it up, Ron, with a question with the governor about his future?
No, I figured that's a good.
Just leave that one hanging there.
He's going to let that one hang. I appreciate that.
Okay, go ahead, Governor.
Good morning.
Go ahead, Governor.
Thank you very much. I really am trying to continue to stay focused on Maryland and the problems and the issues that most Marylanders care about. That's my job. That's what they elected me to do. They didn't elect me to run around the country and play politics. They didn't elect me to be the head cheerleader for every single Republican in the country. I'm a nonpartisan guy who's governing and trying to represent all the people, regardless of their party affiliation. And, I'm not running for president. I'm not running for any national office. And I'm focused on every day just making Maryland a better place and continuing to change Maryland for the better. And it seems like that's what most people want us to do. About almost 3/4 of the people in Maryland are now happy with the job we're doing and happy with the direction the state is heading. So I think we're going to just keep doing what we've been doing.
Governor, final question before I let you go with our Talk with the Governor segment for this month. And it has to do with the FBI, but not for the reasons that we articulated earlier. The FBI headquarters situation has both been postponed or the decision until 2017. What are your thoughts about the direction that's headed in?
Well, I'm very concerned about it, quite frankly, C4. We've been working extremely hard on this for a couple of years now, and we've been working in conjunction with our local leaders and with our federal partners, our senators and congressmen. We've all been working together as one team, Maryland, and have done everything right. And it looks as if Maryland was a slam dunk, and we were having no problems at all. It looked like we were going to be awarded this thing, and I'm concerned that once again the thing's been delayed. I think it was a big mistake, and we're going to continue to try to push. I'm hoping that this is not some politics going on that doesn't. Pushing it off until after the election when they can get somebody to make a different decision. But we're going to be talking with all of our partners, we're going to talk to the senators and the congressmen, our local leaders, and continue to fight as hard as we can because Maryland deserves to have this FBI headquarters in Maryland, and our proposals, there's no question, they're hands down, head and shoulders above the Virginia site.
And as you conclude, Governor Hogan, I'm sure your prayers once again go out to all those affected by this horrific crash this morning between the MTA bus and the school bus this morning right here in Baltimore City.
Well, it's a tragic situation. It's still unfolding, but we know we've lost a number of folks, and others are still in serious condition. So we're praying for all of them, and I hope all your listeners will as well.
Governor Larry Hogan, as always, thank you for the time. Our Talk with the Governor segment, we'll get him on next month. Thank you, Governor Hogan.